The Antichrist is changing, people. Do this to prepare. There isn't much time left before the end of the world. Constant anarchy and a slew of recent catastrophes are signs that the end of the world is near. The appearance and influence of the Antichrist are among the most prominent indications of the rapture. In one context, the Antichrist acts as a guardian angel of light, while in another he acts as an evil influence. Do you know who the Antichrist is and what his significance is in the rapture? In this video, we're going to tell you how the Antichrist will influence people and bring about change in them. Stay tuned. Things are getting horrifying in the United States and other Christian Western nations. Millions of people's thoughts have turned to Bible prophecy in the wake of the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and now they're asking, what's God's purpose in all of this? Events predicted by the Bible are accelerating. Jesus commanded us to watch and pray, and we should do the same. Within this generation, widespread suffering as a result of Satan's activities will become a reality. Many of these occurrences will be orchestrated by the Antichrist himself. After September 11, 2001, many people began to speculate that the evil Osama bin Laden could be the Antichrist of biblical prophecy. Some people believed Saddam Hussein was the Antichrist a decade ago. Before him, Mikhail Gorbachev was the target of suspicion. Some people still look at Adolf Hitler and see him as the Antichrist. Who is the Antichrist? In the New Testament, the term Antichrist, or a form of it, is only used by the Apostle John. John makes a total of 5 references to Antichrist, and the spirit of the Antichrist throughout his writings. Many Bible experts say that the man of lawlessness Paul talks about in 2 Thessalonians 2 is the same person, or the thing that John called the Antichrist in 1 John 2. Both characters fit a pattern first seen in Daniel and then again in John's vision of the beast in Revelation 13, so we can draw from a variety of texts in our attempt to create a composite sketch. What are the significant signs of the Antichrist? Antichrist, a sign of the last hour. Children, it is the end hour, and just as you heard that the Antichrist was coming, now many Antichrists have come. 1 John 2:18. The apostle writes to his followers, because of this, we realize that this is the final hour. 1 John 2:18 ESV. The last days, or the last hour, meant the entire time between Christ's ascension and his return in the eyes of the apostles. There was nothing left to do except for the few and final acts involved with Christ's second coming. Thus, in that sense, it was and is the last hour, as the work of salvation had been done via all the great events associated with Jesus' first coming. During this time, which exists solely by God's grace and mercy to spread the gospel invitation to people of every tribe, tongue, and nation on earth, John predicted that the Antichrist would be exceedingly active. Antichrist, a person or persons. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, of whom you have heard that he is coming and is already in the world. 1 John 4:3. John uses the terms Antichrist and Antichrist in the same verse given above. John imagines a person or people and an overarching spirit that drives everything. For that day will not come until the rebellion comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction, Paul wrote to the Thessalonians. For that day will not come until the rebellion comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction. An unknown force of anarchy is already active. Only he who holds it back right now can keep it under control until he's out of the way. 2 Thessalonians 2:3-7 ESV. This spirit, which takes the form of a person or people, follows a well-established protocol. The Christian Antichrist, as pointed out by Tremper Longman III, becomes symbolically represented by Antiochus. Antiochus IV Epiphanes narratives in Daniel 7-10 are emphasized because they provide insight into the overall goals and strategy of the Antichrist wherever he may appear. When you put it all together, it's reasonable to conclude that there is an Antichrist spirit at work constantly in the end times, one that occasionally takes human form, and one that, Once the entry restraining his development removes the current restrictions upon his activity in the world, will take the form of a person of enormous power and authority. Antichrist opposes the teachings of Jesus. Whoever denies that Jesus is Christ is a liar, according to 1 John 2:22, written by the Apostle John. He who denies both the Father and the Son is the Antichrist. 1 John 2:22 ESV. John goes on to say, "By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God." This is found later in the same epistle. "The spirit of the Antichrist, of whom you have heard, is now among us." 1 John 4:2-3 ESV. Obfuscate and contradict the apostolic teachings concerning Christ. This is the goal of the spirit of the Antichrist, whether it manifests in an individual or a group, like those who went out from us in 1 John 2:19, as John writes. He rejects Christian beliefs in the Trinity, Christ's divinity, and the Incarnation. He doesn't want people to see Jesus as the Messiah, an incarnate Son of God, just as a brilliant teacher, moral leader, and political prophet. Antichrist might become a king. Antichrists will likely follow the general pattern set by the tale of Antiochus Epiphanes IV, and strive to obtain political power to persecute and resist the saints of God. Through cunning and manipulation, Antiochus was able to rise to the position of a world leader, and to it the dragon gave his power, his throne, and tremendous authority, as it is written in Revelation 13:3. Revelation 13:2 ESV. Authority was given to it over every tribe and people and language and nation, which seems to imply that its reach goes much beyond natural boundaries. Revelation 13:7 ESV. Using the power bestowed upon him by the devil, he will try radical reforms throughout all aspects of society, as prophesied by the prophet Daniel. He shall think to change the times and the law. Daniel 7:25 ESV. According to John's prophecy, he will also have power over the economy. Also, it causes all, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one may buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. Revelation 13:16-17 ESV. Those who don't agree with the Antichrist's changes may not be able to do any kind of business. Antichrist tells people to worship him. It looks like the last version of Antichrist will try to force a form of emperor worship, just like Antiochus, and, more recently, Nero Caesar did, according to Revelation 13:18 and the 666 number. Antiochus is described as a little horn in Daniel 8:10 and 11, where it is said of him that it will grow great even to the host of heaven, and it tossed some of the host and stars to the ground, where it trampled them. It grew in stature until it rivaled that of the prince of the host. Daniel 8:10 and 11 ESV. This is another way of stating that Antiochus was sure he could fight a war against the heavens after he beat every force on earth. Paul picks up on this element of the Antichrist pattern in 2 Thessalonians 2. For that day will not come unless the rebellion occurs first, and the man of lawlessness, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself against every god or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in God's temple and proclaims himself to be God, is revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3-4 ESV. When we look at Daniel and Paul together, it seems like the last Antichrist, or man of lawlessness, will gain full, uncontested power over the whole world and start to think he can go to war with God when God's current limits are gone. He will make it illegal to worship anyone or anything other than himself. This ends the video for today. What do you think about the Antichrist influencing people? Let us know in the comments section. Also, tell us about which topic we should make our next video. Like and share this video. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next video.